CJ Stroud was on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast. It is a podcast that gets the biggest names out there.
Oh, yeah.
Sports world, entertainment world. That they got CJ Stroud and Tank Dell, I think goes to show you just how big of a deal Stroud is, and maybe Tank Dell is as well.
Mm-hmm.
On that podcast, a conversation was had about the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. And CJ Stroud was asked where he would rank himself. Here's what happens.
Oh, no, I'm tripping. Let me go. I'm going.
Tripping?
So, look, final 5. I know what I'm doing, dog. Mahomes, Lamar, myself, Dak.
Joey B.
No, he didn't really play last year. And then Hurts.
Dak?
Yeah, bro.
Dak?
Dak, that boy. Y'all not gonna say that because he ain't won the big one.
You said Matthew Stafford?
Yeah, Matthew, but he was the top 5
It's Cowboys thing.
Bro, you gonna put Dak Prescott in there over Joe Burrow?
Yeah, I got.
I'm saying off of last year, dog. He ain't play all year. He got hurt.
Well, we can
Burrow,
find somebody.
Burrow, one of my favorite players. I'm out of my game after Burrow a little bit. Like,
Why you
me and Burrow got
with
in the
that?
fan styles.
Cowboys.
Oh, Eagles and
Dak is that
Cowboys,
dude,
they don't
bro.
like each other like that? I ain't know all that.
What?
I ain't see. I don't be knowing all that.
Dak tough, bro.
I'm
Dak
just-
is one of the most accurate quarterbacks.
Y'all gotta see them
in
this
the
year,
world.
don't y'all?
Yeah, we playing.
Oh, my God. The battle
So
of
that-
Texas.
A lot of conversations happening. Joe George.
Underrated. I love that Tank Dell was like, oh, yeah, Cowboys and Eagles have a rivalry? Huh. News to me.
Shows you how little NFL players know.
Joe, last week we played another bit of audio from CJ Stroud, and you said that CJ Stroud loves him some CJ
He does.
Stroud.
CJ loves CJ.
He ranked himself 3rd among all quarterbacks in the NFL.
No, I have no issue with doing this. Like saying you are in that like top group of quarterbacks, saying you're 3rd. Honestly, most time I think CJ Stroud has bad takes. Sometimes. This is another example. I know Dak is accurate. He don't win nothing. He's not the fourth best quarterback in the
4th
NFL.
was too high for Dak.
4th is too high. I don't have a problem with CJ saying he's the 3rd best quarterback in the NFL. Honestly, like, I'm glad he didn't say he was 1st. Actually, I think that's a good thing that he recognizes that he wasn't the best.
Mahomes 1, Lamar Jackson 2, he 3, Dak Prescott 4, and then Jalen Hurts 5. Well, if you're going off of last year, and I get it, Joe Burrow didn't play much of last year. I would still put Burrow in my top 5. If you're going off of last year, you can't have Jalen Hurts up there. You just can't. Hurts was not good last season.
No.
I like Jalen Hurts a lot, but he played poorly last year. A lot of turnovers, wasn't as effective running the football. So that's one that you can't put up in that top 5. Dak, last year, statistically, was top 5. He was.
He was.
I don't know
He
that
did-
I trust him in the playoffs still, and
Yeah.
that sort of goes back to why with Lamar Jackson as well. There's going to be some people that would push back on that because both of those guys are known for playoff failures.
Yeah, I mean, Dak he had 36 touchdowns last year, 9 interceptions. He was 3rd in the NFL in his rating, his adjusted QBR. He was number 2. Like his completion percentage, he's at the top of the league. Passing yards, he's at the top of the league. It is probably off last year. Dak is a top 5 quarterback.
No Josh Allen in the
Yeah.
top 5 is also interesting to me, and I get it, but it does feel like there's a lot of, maybe not to the same degree as Caitlin Clark hate, but I know online I will see lots of vitriol from black analysts directed towards Josh Allen more than towards any of the top quarterbacks in the game. You can make a variety of different reasons as to why that is. All I am telling you is that is a fact. You will see a lot of criticism of Allen online. I get it partly because I think he's sometimes a little bit too careless with the football. And it did take a while for the Bills offense to get going last year. In fact, they started running the football. And guess what? Josh Allen was a little bit more effective.
And I think
out
that's
there.
why people are critical of him, is that once they stopped throwing the ball as much as they were, and they started letting James Cook, really be the key of that offense, that's when Josh started playing better. And also with Josh Allen, I think it goes back to the beginning of his career before Stephon Diggs. It was so bad.
It was bad.
That
There's some stink still on him.
That people still, they can't get that. And then now when they start running the ball more, it looks better again. They look at that stuff as more than the that brutal loss to the Chiefs in the playoffs, the great Sunday night games that he's had, stuff like that.
There's part of it too where his issue is like some of the absolute like berserk YOLO plays that he makes, where those like just stand out and are so like obvious to, if you're watching a game, you're just like, what the hell was he doing there? Where someone like Joe Burrow, like he's about as good as Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow just doesn't have the WTF kind of moments.
Yeah. And it's the run game too. Like, because Lamar gets dinged for this stuff too. Whenever you have a quarterback, and Hurts, when you ever have quarterbacks that their best asset is not their arm, it's their legs, those quarterbacks are always criticized pretty heavily. And even when it's not fair. I mean, like, it's a tough spot for Josh Allen. He's not in the top 5 right now for me. Whether it's last season or going into this season, Josh Allen would be outside my top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL.
To bring it back to C.J. Stroud, who ranked himself 3rd there, to you, is C.J. Stroud top 5?
Yes. I'm gonna try to take playoff stuff out of this because it does complicate it. I would have CJ going into the season as the probably the, I would say, the 4th best quarterback in the NFL. So it's gonna be Mahomes, it's gonna be Burrow, it's gonna be Lamar because he's won 2 MVPs. Like, I'm gonna try to take the playoff stuff out of this. In the regular season, he's nasty, and then I would put CJ as 4 right now, and then probably Herbert 5.
Oh,
I'm still a Herbert believer. I might be last man standing on that hill.
I'll go Mahomes, obviously free space, Mahomes. Burrow, Allen. I'll go Lamar, Stroud.
you have to put Lamar ahead of Stroud.
Lamar has more MVPs than Stroud has years in the NFL. There has to be some like track record nod, and really we're debating 4th or 5th best quarterback in the league. So
and head to head, Lamar's got him. He's 2-0.
I forget the order that I put them in last time. So if someone's keeping tabs, just keep in mind that I forget a lot of things.
This is the updated list. You've crunched the numbers, watched some tape. Now here's your new list.
This is my new list after having heard that. 1, Patrick Mahomes. Duh. 2, sorry, Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Big Joe Burrow guy. 3, I've always liked Lamar Jackson. The playoff thing sucks. And it's got to figure itself out. But he's a good thrower of the football. He doesn't get enough credit for it. I think you got to put Josh Allen ahead of C.J. Stroud. I would say that I think that Stroud's going to jump in front of those two by season's end in the consensus eyes of many. But right now, I think that he's got to still overcome those two. Great rookie season. I'm feeling great about him going forward. Clearly, I feel like there's a lot of Brady-esque qualities that he has in him, except for he is more athletically gifted than them. Do you want to do?
King asked here about Goff. Goff is tough because he's got the Josh Allen stuff.
Goff,
Where Sean McVay is telling him to play until there's 15 seconds left.
Wait, with the Josh Allen stuff? What do you mean?
We're like the stink.
Of the early years.
Yeah, Jared Goff has old stink on him. He is, Sean McVay is telling him to play until there's 10 seconds left or whatever in the clock. He's quarterbacking the ugliest Super Bowl we've all watched in the last 2 decades. But Jared Goff, like what he did last year, if he does it again, he really changes the narrative, in my opinion, about his career. But I can't look past like the end of his Rams tenure and what it first was in Detroit. Like that's why Goff's not in my top 5. There's an argument, I think, for real.
I don't think he's as physically gifted.
No,
I think all the
he's
guys that we
smart.
listed there, like of all those guys, Joe Burrow's the only one where you look at and you realize he doesn't have the strongest arm. But all of those guys that were ahead of C.J. Stroud on that list that I put together, at least, are physical freaks. And to what you said with Justin Herbert, Herbert's got a cannon. The thing with Herbert is the consistency is not there. A lot of people are on the same page as you, Joe. There's still a lot of people that have Justin Herbert real estate.
Yeah, and not just with Goff, like not just the arm strength stuff, but I mean, for all of our top 5s, the worst runner was either Burrow or Stroud.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 worst runners. Everyone else is a way better runner, someone who can give you something. Not just, I mean, because they're not running. Lamar's running sweeps. Josh Allen's running like actual sweeps. That's not what Mahomes is doing, but Mahomes can still scramble for 50 on 3rd and 15. He can pick up a first down with his legs, and that's something that Jared Goff like just cannot do unless he's being left wide ass open. But they're
And let's be honest with ourselves here too. Okay, like Goff, look, Goff's done well, but I mean, would you take Jared Goff over CJ Stroud?
No.
Would you
No.
take Jared Goff over Matt Stafford, for God's sakes?
Nope.
yeah. I mean, the Rams literally made that choice.
Right.
they made that choice.
Yeah.
They did that and then won the Super Bowl.
And I give Goff credit. Like he has turned his career around. Like they literally, they gave away first round picks to get rid of Jared Goff. Like they made a decision to bail on a guy, and they were right. They won a Super Bowl with Matt Stafford. Now, does Jared Goff have a better chance to win a Super Bowl this year than CJ Stroud? Absolutely. I will say yes, because he has an easier path to the Super Bowl than CJ does going through the NFC. Goff
Goff has the best offensive line in the league.
you can tell, like, if you want to look at
And
stats,
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
yeah, the stats will tell you that he is a better quarterback than CJ Stroud. Yes, that is a fact. There is no argument. That is the argument that Twitch is having with us right now.
Yeah,
That the
and-
stats will tell you that Goff is a better quarterback. My eyeballs tell me, and all of you who have watched the NFL will tell you CJ Stroud's a better quarterback.
Right. This is like I love it when the baseball people bring the box score stuff in here. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, you're gonna baseball explain me, I'll football explain you.
At a certain
Sorry.
point too, with
Come on.
quarterbacks, if a team and a especially an offensive coach, an offensive head coach who's well regarded, absolutely quits on you and is like, this guy stinks. I'm sorry, you're not a top 5 quarterback. If there's a coach out there that's like, yuck,
Yeah,
get
that's-
this guy off. I have him on my team. Get him off my team.
That's tough.
That's a tough one to overcome and be top 5.
He basically did to Jared Goff what Tony Romo allegedly did to Jessica Simpson outside of Arby's. He just left him on the side of the road.
I don't think I know that story.
Yeah, I definitely didn't know it was an
Tony
Arby's.
Romo just left her there.
Supposedly, that's the rumor.
Oh,
The Dallas
Outside
Cowboy
Arby's?
quarterback dating rumors, baby.
Yeah, and this is like 2007 era rumors too. So it's like no sources needed.
None.
I just needed one person at my school to say it, and I'm running with it.
I just think it's weird that, like, of all the quarterbacks that the Twitch is going to bring up, they're going to bring up the guy who's like the 13th best in terms of
no,
overall
they're just bringing up
skill.
the good fact because like they're not Texans fans really.
Well, no, they're. I mean,
and they want to just dump.
But
on
if you're gonna do the box score stuff, like you would do it with Dak or Herbert or like there's other guys with
Or
awesome
Tua.
numbers. Tua has awesome numbers.
yeah.
Kirk Cousins, Kyler Murray. There's a lot of guys that I would put maybe not ahead of Goff, but there's a lot of questions that I would want to have the debate about Kyler Murray or Jared Goff because I'm not 100% sure the answer.
You know, if we're bringing up total wins, okay, so like the Lions, yeah, they advanced the NFC Championship game.
Purdy.
What was the lead that the Lions had in that
20
NFC
something?
Championship game?
Yeah.
Oh, was it 24-7 and then they couldn't score the rest of the game? Oh,
Yeah.
huh. Okay, look.
Fifth best quarterback in the
If
league.
you're one of
you're
these
talking
quarterbacks going forward, it's obvious. If you're watching with eyes, which are the two things that allow you to see anything, like you're taking Stroud. I don't get it. Like, hey, let's bring up like the 15th best quarterback in the NFL. I'm just going to continue to move him down the list. Let's bring up like the 15th best quarterback in terms of overall skill and say like, hey, yeah,
Jared
this
Goff.
guy's better than CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
You know, Jordan Love is a better one to bring up too.
Jordan Love, it actually would
Jordan
be the
Love
better
just
one.
had the same
Jordan Love
numbers
is
as
the
CJ
argument.
Stroud.
Yeah.
Jordan, I feel like
which King made before, but now he's bringing it down to Jared Goff. Again, the
it's
Twitch
just to argue.
It just dumbs down the conversation all the time when you bring it in football. Good God. Some texts. I've never heard a first-year quarterback so arrogant. There will be people that take issue with him. Did he get a king tattoo yet, a la LeBron James? This texter continues, you better hope CJ doesn't turn out like Chukwuemeka Okafor.
Yeah, look. If CJ Stroud has a bad year, there's going to be a lot of people who try to dump on us. Who cares? Everyone in this city that's doing this job and has opinions. Some people are going to be right. Some people are going to be wrong. Some listeners are going to be right. Some listeners are going to be wrong. My opinion, and your opinion, clearly, is CJ Stroud's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. There's nothing wrong with that. We're not doing it to bandwagon. I love this show. I love our Twitchers. They make me laugh so hard because they're trying to accuse us of bandwagons. But then when I bring up the Bears, like Joe's a stupid Bears fan, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Why would I be? Why am I
I
pandering?
mean, it is a good point, though.
Like I'm a Bears fan.
You've never seen good
I'm
football
a
in your
Bears
life.
fan.
That is a knock again.
Yeah.
Stop saying that, please.
Like I'm a Bears fan.
Okay.
I'm gonna be rooting
You're a
for the
BF.
Bears.
You're a
week
BF
2
word.
in
That's what
Houston.
you are.
Like it. I'm not biased towards the Texans.
Season tickets. You should have them revoked.
I do wonder how that's going to go over. Probably not well.
Another text. Can y'all please shut up about CJ Stroud before he has the worst season ever? Because this show is the biggest jinx ever.
Why?
Only 2 active starting quarterbacks have a Super Bowl ring: Mahomes and Stafford.
I mean, I was saying this stuff about CJ Stroud when I was not on this show, and he continued to be well, and so was Paul. So I don't think we're a jinx.
Yeah, Paul
No,
asked
maybe-
him. Paul asked him about his winning mentality when they're 0-2.
No,
like Paul has been.
Now, could they be referring to the LaBerge wagers that Sean Bryan and I made?
Still
as
alive.
jinx?
Still alive on that one.
We're still alive.
They just need to win.
Just in case I'm a jinx, I'm
68%
not
of
going to
their
bet on the Texans over this year. Just in case. I'm a jinx. I'm a pass. Certain games, maybe. The over on the season, probably not.
I do not trust your judgment here, sir.
Why?
I just don't.
He grew up watching Kyle Orton and Rex Grossman and many other travesties upon football. I'm sure I trust him on this one.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
I feel like if just going forward, you're looking at it, like you would be looking at him as saying, okay, well, how much better is he going to be year 2 than he was in year 1? And some of the people that are making this very strange to me Jared Goff argument are arguing, well, he's been in the league for a while. But okay, but like if we're gonna have that conversation about who you take, Matt Stafford is the one that I would do that for.
Yeah.
The guy who's like somehow still playing well despite having like 8 back surgeries. But with Goff, and part of it does have to do with earlier in his career. But even if he's 29 years old, do you really think that Jared Goff is going to get that much better? I'm not saying that he is a game manager, but I am saying he is in a situation that until last year, no one was really aware of how good it was. Fantastic offensive line. They found a tight end in the middle of the draft who might be the next great tight end in the league. They have Amon-Ra St. Brown. They have a running back in Jahmyr Gibbs who is Alvin Kamara-esque. They have a lot going for them there. It's not to say that Jared Goff has not been a part of it. He has progressed, I think, great since going to Detroit and since Sean McVay gave up on him. Honestly, kind of an indictment on Sean McVay the way that he gave up on him, but that's me, and I'm not really the biggest McVay fan. I feel like he has his tires inflated a little bit too much. But I feel like if you are being asked to pick between CJ Stroud and Jared Goff for this season, I would be shocked by anyone who would take Goff over Stroud.
And this is where I think the lack of experience argument with CJ is usually terribly flawed. Like you don't see a quarterback excel to this level and then have a drop off that doesn't have a big reason behind it. Like we've talked about this a little bit before in the past, and I think I remember a texter saying RG3 was an example. Well, look, we watched his knee bend in ways it shouldn't because of the field in Washington. Like RG3 also, like egotistically, is a huge part of his downfall. He went into the offseason next year with Gruden and Shanahan and said he didn't want to do any of the RPO stuff that they were doing that was working, and it fell apart. But like Luck was great. Mahomes has been great. Quarterbacks that typically have this level of success in their first year, it continues. That's why, to me, it's fair to put Jordan Love in this conversation. When you see Jalen Hurts excel in his first year, what happens? He excels again. Like, you typically don't start at this peak and then fall off a cliff. Usually you're just bad. Like Justin Fields, always bad. Deshaun Watson, pretty good until everything that happened. Like he had all the off-field stuff and it fell apart.
That to me falls into it's a different.
Yeah.
It's different than the RG3 Andrew Luck stuff, but it is similar where he just didn't play football for a year and a half.
Like you have Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott took the job from Tony Romo and never gave it back. And if you were not a believer in that first year in Dak Prescott, well, you were the one that was wrong because he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Same with Jalen Hurts when he got the job from Wentz. You just don't have this much of success in football and see guys fail dramatically after that. Will he have a worse year this year? It's very possible.
He might. Look, the schedule's tougher, but I mean, I don't know how you watched last year with how good he was at making the right throw and not throwing turnovers, not turning the football over. Like Trevor Lawrence can't even hold on to a football without fumbling it. or
He was also awful his rookie year.
I mean, Jared.
but hey, wait on. Hang on a second. I mean, he had Urban Myers as head coach. Like, that guy gets excuses made for him all the time, and he's in a market that no one cares about. So no one jumps on Trevor Lawrence, who routinely overthrows passes by 10 yards over the middle of the field. Because he weirdly, like, even though he's got all the talent, like, he'll just completely whiff on passes from time to time. Where with Stroud last year, he didn't turn the football over, and he didn't get sacked. And I mean, that's his rookie season. Like, that's the year where that's always supposed to happen.
You don't like. There are just times when people are good at sports, and like it's okay. It's okay to say that Adley Rushman is the best catcher in baseball. Like
he
is. Like, it's okay.
That's a name.
Not Yainer Diaz?
Now Todd
He's no
is
Yainer Diaz. Come on.
Come on. Yainer was awesome.
Yeah.
Maldonado
Like,
better than him too.
Todd is like he's trying to use Yainer as a comp for CJ.
Baseball's so different.
How everyone gassed up Yainer Diaz last year as the savior, and to his point, like, Yainer Diaz has been awful this year. It's not the same. Like, it's just not. Like, LeBron was awesome right away. When you are this elite at the start of your career, you don't see people, unless they mess up their life, fall off typically.
Look,
that's why there's no reason to believe CJ will fall apart.
He was supposed to have the worst group of weapons going into the year. And yeah, Nico Collins better than probably everyone expected. Tank Dell, steal. But I mean, look at what he made happen with what was considered 32nd of 32 teams in terms of weapons going into the year. Look at the way that he throws the football. Tell me you've seen a prettier ball. Tell me you've seen a prettier ball.
They
On
don't
a
really
routine
exist.
basis, this guy throws a perfect spiral, puts it in the exact right places with the exact right amount of touch, stands in the pocket, old school style, doesn't get pushed off of his position in the pocket like so many other quarterbacks do. Bryce Young, who a lot of people wanted. Bryce Young can't stand in there. Anthony Richardson, to his credit, does stand in there a bit, but a little bit inaccurate when he was. Again, he only was like 3-game sample size last year. Stroud has a lot of old school quarterback traits that have been kind of lost in today's game, in that a lot of these quarterbacks now are mobile and they're going to use their feet to extend plays, get outside the pocket, and make crazy stuff happen off script. CJ Stroud is one of the old school guys who stands in there, takes a pounding, still puts pretty balls up, avoids sacks, avoids interceptions, and to me, it should jump off the screen to you. If it doesn't, I don't know what to tell you. Pay attention this year.
He can go off script with the best of them. Like, he can do everything.